When I Fall by Scarlet Emerald 32. Chapter 11.
Love was made for me and you. See, love was made for me and you.
Keith sang the last line of the song, and everyone applauded as Eric hit the last few chords on the piano.
Thank you all. We're going to take a break for a little bit before we come back with the second half of our set. So everybody sit tight and enjoy all the wonderful food that our ladies in the kitchen so lovingly prepared.
They put down their instruments as pre-recorded music began to drift from the speakers in each of the corners, and the partygoers began wandering around the room, striking up conversations. Talisa hopped down from the makeshift stage and headed over to where Rosita and Abraham stood next to one of the bar-height tables, sipping their drinks.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going. Kick-ass set, by the way. You guys aren't half bad.
Well, thanks. We try.
Nice dress, too.
Rosita nodded towards Talisa's simple black cocktail dress.
You clean up nice.
Was gonna say the same to you.
Talisa shot Rosita a wink, referencing the deep blue sheath dress she was wearing.
I could never pull off those slinky numbers. I'm lacking in certain assets.
Rosita laughed and shook her head.
Somehow, I think your assets are fully appreciated.
Talisa shot her a wry smile as she turned to scan the room.
Where is Eugene anyway?
He wandered off a few minutes ago, muttering about capacity and exit points.
But he was here for your whole set.
The song changed to something slower and Rosita perked up, grabbing Abraham's arm.
Oh, I love this one. Come on, dance with me.
Woman, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, I don't dance.
And I've told you over 1,000 times, I don't care.
He sighed and gave her an exasperated smile and eye roll, but he put down his drink and allowed her to lead him out onto the dance floor. Talisa wound her way through the tables until she saw Sasha sitting alone at one watching the group of dancers in the middle of the room. Talisa made her way over to the table.
The seat taken.
Help yourself.
Talisa sat, shooting a look at Sasha as she did.
You seem more at ease tonight. Last party we had, you kinda looked like you were about to crawl out of your skin.
Sasha gave a small snort of laughter and shook her head slightly, still watching the dancing.
Last time, we were the guests of honor at the party. All eyes were on us. Not to mention, I was still figuring things out.
Oh yeah? So you got everything figured out now?
Sasha gave her an amused glance as she reached for her glass of wine and took a sip, before looking back at the dance floor.
I wouldn't exactly say that, but I'm working on it.
Oh, good. Because if you had figured out this whole thing, I was gonna have to beg you to tell me your secret so I could catch up.
Sasha laughed at that.
Guess you and I have never really had a chance to talk much, huh?
I tend to like to let people come to me when they're ready. I find trying to force them to talk is counterproductive.
So what made you approach me tonight then?
Like I said, you seem different. More at peace, I guess.
Sasha sighed and shook her head.
I'm not sure what I am, but I can't deny something has changed.
You know, when you all first got here, you stood out to me from the moment I saw you. You reminded me of someone.
Sasha looked over at her in surprise.
Oh yeah? Who?
Me, when Aaron found me. After my husband died, I didn't leave our house for weeks. I didn't see the point in going on. I was just existing because I didn't know how to do anything else.
Sasha turned her body now, leaning her elbows on the table as she spoke.
I remember your story about what happened to your husband. I don't know how you got through that. If it were me, I don't think I'd be strong enough.
It wasn't really about strength in the end. I wanted to die. I thought about it every day. In this world, ending it isn't exactly a difficult concept. But the thing I kept coming back to was that JP sacrificed himself to save me. If I took my own life, it would mean what he didn't mean anything. So I existed to honor him. But I wasn't living. I locked myself away and just went through the motions.
You said you were still in your home?
Yeah, one of the perks of having a genius-level ingenuitive husband. We had about an acre of property with our home just outside of Vienna. We'd gotten our own solar panels about 2 years before everything went down. So JP had the brilliant idea to basically set our attic up as a small studio apartment and move up there. We'd been planning to build an extension on our home and had started buying supplies. So we put a false wall in the back of our closet that covered our attic access, and he built a hidden door in one of the closet shelves. We cut electricity to the rest of the house, made it look abandoned, but always left a few decent things, canned meat or veggies and the like, in our pantry to keep scavengers from looking too much deeper into the house. It worked like a charm. We heard people downstairs on and off, but no one ever found us.
How did Aaron find you then?
He found me while I was out. Like I said, I felt like I had to stay alive to honor JP's sacrifice. So one day while I was out getting water from our rain barrels, Aaron found me. It took him a while to convince me to come back here. And then even when I did, every day when I woke up, there was a part of me that was disappointed that I did.
What changed?
Nothing big. It just snuck up on me in 100 different ways. And then one day I realized I was looking forward to things again. Laughing, thinking about things that were a week, even a month away. Slowly, I just started living again.
Sasha smirked and shook her head again. Talisa could see that her words had struck a chord with her, but she wasn't sure how. After another moment, Sasha spoke again, looking down at her wine glass as she did.
I was with my brother when it all started. He and I met up with some people, and we were just surviving. Then we met Rick and his group. Carl found us, brought us into the prison where they were living, and for a while, it was good. Tyrese met a girl. He was starting to see a future. And then we all started getting sick. And Karen, she got killed to stop the spread. Tyrese was never the same. When the prison fell, we got separated. I didn't know if he was alive or dead. But even in all that, I had Bob. When I met him,
She sighed, smiling sadly and blinking against the tears in her eyes.
thought he was the most annoying man on the planet. He was so positive, so damn happy no matter how much shit was happening around him. But with time, I got it. He made me happy, even when everything around us told us it was insane to be. He gave me hope that maybe there could be something more. And then he got bit.
Oh, Sasha.
Talisa wanted to reach out and comfort her, but she resisted, feeling Sasha may not appreciate it.
It was just a routine run. Just a simple scouting mission to a food bank. And that's the real problem, isn't it? In this world, when you love someone, all they are is a way that you can be broken again because you can't plan for a future. Not really. Not when any day in 1,000 different ways they can be snatched from you. Just like that.
She snapped her fingers.
Bob died. And then when I finally found Tyrese again, he died too. He died trying to help Noah, and now Noah's dead too. So what was the point?
I think living is the point. You're right. We don't have any guarantees anymore. But if we don't try to make something of the time we have, then there really is no point to being alive.
Sasha sighed heavily and pressed her hands to her face.
I just don't think I can do it. I'm so scared all the time. Being numb was easy, but ever since we went out there, it's like I woke up and now that I'm awake, I can't figure out how to be numb again. And I can't lose anyone else. I know myself. If it happens again, If I let myself care and then it all falls apart, it'll break me.
Talisa reached across the table and squeezed her hand. As she'd suspected, Sasha initially froze at her touch, but didn't pull away.
Believe it or not, Sasha, I'm in the exact same place.
She looked across the room where Eugene was standing, talking with Tobin, pointing vaguely at the new support beams they'd put in the ceiling. Sasha smirked as she looked back at Talisa.
So how are you managing to do it?
Hanging on for dear life and being terrified for the most part.
Sasha laughed slightly.
The first step was admitting that I wanted it to happen, and then sharing that with him. From there, I'm just taking it one step at a time and being completely honest about how I'm feeling. That's the key. Making sure you find someone who will be completely in it with you.
Yeah, that's a lot more complicated for me.
If it's the right person, it won't be.
Sasha shot her an amused smirk as she took another sip of her wine.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kinda seeing what all the hype is about as far as you're concerned. You're pretty all right.
Back at ya. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go try and convince Eugene to dance with me.
Oh, please do. That is something I would love to see.
Talisa got up and walked around the edge of the dance floor to where Tobin and Eugene were standing.
In the end, it comes down to what we have to work with. You get used to doing what you can with what you have.
Hey guys, what you talking about?
I was asking Tobin here about his choice to use fixed supports in the rebuild instead of continuous, which would theoretically make it less likely to take damage in the event that another vehicle takes a run at it.
And I was explaining our lumber shortages.
I see. Well, Eugene, if you can bear to tear yourself away from a topic that riveting, I was hoping maybe you'd dance with me?
Oh, no, I don't think that would be advisable.
How come?
To put it bluntly, dancing is not a skill I have acquired in any capacity, and as such, I have no desire to make a fool of myself attempting it.
Oh, come on, Eugene. Don't leave the lady high and dry. Besides, dancing is easy. Just go out there and twirl her around a bit.
Yeah, what he said.
Talisa shot Tobin a wink.
Oh, well, all right, I suppose I could be persuaded.
He allowed Talisa to grab his hand and pull him out onto the dance floor.
I noticed Carol over by the bar Tobin. Bet she wouldn't mind being taken out for a twirl.
You know that's not a bad idea.
Talisa pulled Eugene into the middle of the dance floor and took his hand.
Come on. It's easy, Eugene. This is an upbeat song, so all you have to do is let go and have fun.
You make it sound infinitely less complex than I am highly aware that it is.
She spun under his arm away from him and then back in against him with a smile.
Don't worry, haircut. I'll steer you around the turns.
In the end, she mostly spun and danced around Eugene, but he laughed and seemed to enjoy the experience. After a minute or so, Enid called to them from her spot near the edge of the dance floor.
You look insane, you know. You're gonna hurt someone if you keep dancing all spazzy like that.
Spazzy? How dare you? I'd like to see you do better.
Oh no. You wouldn't catch me out there if it was the last thing I did.
Well, now, you really shouldn't have said that.
Glenn ran up behind her and grabbed her by the elbow, pulling her out onto the dance floor.
What? Oh, no. Oh my god, you're so lame.
Enid complained as Glenn grabbed her hands, forcing her to move to the rhythm. But after another second or two, she gave in, and within a minute she was laughing.
May I have this dance, Mrs. Ree?
Rick walked up next to Maggie, who was watching Glenn and Enid with a smile.
Of course you may.
They came out on the dance floor as well, and more people joined until they were all laughing and dancing together. There was a loud cheer as the song ended and another slower one came on. Rick looked over at Glenn and smiled.
Trade you partners?
Glenn returned his smile as Maggie came over and wrapped her arms around him. Rick nodded to Carl at the side of the dance floor, and he came out to take Enid's hand and dance with her. Talisa turned her attention back to Eugene as she wrapped her arms around his neck. He rested his hands lightly on her waist, and they rotated slowly on the spot in time with the music.
I'm sure I am not the first to say it, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you how lovely you look this evening.
Well, thanks. You clean up pretty nice yourself. Though the mullet is starting to get a little long. You growing it out?
That wasn't my original intent. There was simply too many other pressing concerns for the upkeep of my hair to be a priority, but now I'm considering it. Do you have any opinions on the matter?
Talisa raised an eyebrow.
I get input on your hairstyle.
Well, as my potential romantic companion, it stands to reason you should have a say in my appearance, seeing as you are currently the only person whose opinions on said appearance are of any significance to me.
Talisa grinned.
Well then, my opinion is that I like you the way you are haircut, but I'd also like you with any hairstyle you choose. Though I guess depending on the hairstyle, I wouldn't be able to call you haircut anymore, huh?
He chuckled.
Well then, for now, I think I'll stick with my signature look. I've grown quite fond of your moniker for me, and I don't believe I'm ready to part with it just yet.
She smiled up at him, and they held each other's gaze as they continued to slowly turn to the music.
It was nice having you at the council meeting this week. I think you really wowed them with that whole agricultural plan.
It's something I've been working on for a while, albeit just in my own head. There are several crops available to us, not the least of which being sorghum, which you and I discussed in our first ever conversation, if you remember.
Of course I do.
Well, along with it, there are several crops that most individuals would overlook when scavenging that can be an invaluable resource if one knows the proper uses for them.
And it's lucky we've got our own invaluable resource right here.
She gently tapped his temple with her finger. He smiled appreciatively down at her as the song ended, and Heath called to her from the edge of the dance floor.
Yo, Tally, we're back on.
The life of a rock star waits for no man or woman. Thanks for the dance haircut.
Anytime, ma'am.
She pointed accusingly at him.
I'm going to hold you to that.
It was a figurative response, and you are well aware.
A few hours later, after she'd helped Carol and Olivia clean up the rest of the dishes, Talisa headed back towards her home. She smirked as she saw Tara heading up the steps to the medical office where Denise was now staying.
Little late for a doctor's visit, isn't it, Tara?
Tara responded with a dry smile and a rude hand gesture that made Talisa laugh. She walked the rest of the way to her house and up the front steps, and as she did, she noticed that Eugene was sitting out on the porch of his own house across the street. She diverted her path and walked over to him.
Get yourself kicked out of your own house again, Eugene?
Yes and no. I wasn't explicitly asked to leave, but for the moment I prefer the peace and quiet available to me out here.
You ever thought about getting your own place? There's a couple townhouses open down by the gate.
She sat down on the porch swing beside him.
While I freely admit there would be advantages to obtaining my own living quarters, privacy and personal space being two of the biggest contenders, I have to say I would lose out on some of the very substantial perks this location provides me, not the least of which would be my close proximity to a particularly beautiful girl.
Eugene Porter.
Talisa shot him a sly smile.
That right there was some top-notch flirting.
Well, I have always considered myself a fast learner.
He winked at her and she grinned in response.
So, I have a surprise for you. I was trying to decide when to show it to you, but I'm here now. So what the hell?
What sort of surprise?
I learned something new on the guitar, and I want to play it for you.
She picked up the instrument from where it was leaning against the porch.
I looked through Eric's sheet music collection and saw it in there. As soon as I did, I knew I had to learn it. I'd never heard it before, but I kind of fell in love with it as I played. It's really beautiful in a haunting sort of way.
I'm not sure I understand.
Eugene stopped speaking as she began to play, and his eyes widened with understanding. Talisa played through the intro and then gave him a smile as she began to sing.
Have you heard what they said on the news? Have you heard?
She played through the song quietly, and at about the halfway point, Eugene began to sing along with her. She looked up at him and smiled as they sang it together. She played the last chords and then took her hands off the strings, resting the guitar on her crossed legs and leaning against it.
So did I surprise you? I didn't know if it was one of your favorite songs or not, but it was the only one Eric had, so I thought even if it wasn't one you liked that much, it'd be the thought that counted.
It is, in fact, my favorite song.
Really?
He reached over and brushed a hand across her cheek.
Really, I assure you. And you cannot begin to comprehend what it means to me that you would learn it and play it just for me.
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, Haircut, I kinda like ya.
There was a long pause as Eugene took his hand from her cheek and looked down, nervously intertwining his fingers as he spoke softly.
I more than like you. Quite a lot more, as it turns out. In fact, the amount to which I more than like you seems to increase with every passing day. And every time I feel like the way I feel about you couldn't possibly grow stronger, it does.
He looked back up at her now.
I know I accepted the slow pace at which you asked that we take this relationship. And I want you to know I have every intention of holding to that. But I cannot deny that each time I am close to you, trying to keep my thoughts and actions in check becomes more and more of a challenge. And then you go and do something as amazing as this, and...
Talisa smiled and leaned in, planting a firm but gentle kiss on his cheek. He held her there for a moment, pressing his cheek to hers before letting her go. She sat back to look at him and cupped his face in her hands.
You have the patience of a saint, Eugene, and believe me, I know how you feel. I more than like you too.
The door opened and Rosita stuck her head out.
Hey, Eugene, what are you doing out here? It's cold.
She saw Talisa and smiled.
Oh, hey, Talisa.
Hey, Rosita. I was just headed home.
No worries, take your time.
She stuck her head back in the door and closed it.
I really should go home.
I'll walk you if you like.
Eugene, it's like 40 steps away.
I'm aware of that. My offer had nothing to do with the distance.
Well then, yes, I would like that.
She looped her arm through his as they walked across the street, and when they reached her door, she turned to give him a long hug before opening it. As she made to step inside, she turned back to him.
Hey, Eugene. You know that stuff that you said has started running through your head every time you're around me?
Yes?
Well, keep thinking it, okay?
Oh, I intend to.
He grabbed her hand, giving it a quick kiss, before walking back across the street.
You went to medical school, right?
Enid looked over from her spot on the couch in Talisa's office.
Yeah, I did. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering, was it hard?
I mean, yeah, medical school isn't easy. But when you love what you do, you learn to love the hard parts too.
Enid, who had been tossing one of the stress balls that Talisa had on her side table in the air, stopped and looked down at it in her hands as she spoke again.
I've been helping Denise in the medical office sometimes.
Oh yeah? What have you been helping with?
Just quizzing her on the books, helping her stock shelves and stuff. It's interesting. She said maybe I could help her as like an assistant when Maggie has the baby if I want to.
I think that would be really special.
Enid looked up at her with a shy, nervous expression.
Do you think I might be good at that? Being a doctor, I mean, I know there's no school left for me to learn or anything, but...
I think you would be an amazing doctor.
Enid smiled.
I'm not even sure if I want to... It was just an idea. I thought if I could be part of helping people, saving their lives, that just seemed like something worth doing, you know?
I do know, and I think it's great. How's everything else? How's Carl?
A slow smile crept onto Enid's face, but she looked down quickly to conceal it.
He's good. It's kind of weird, though. I like him. Like, I really like him. And I like Maggie and Glenn, too. Not the same way, obviously, but you get it. It's just...
Scary? Like if you let yourself feel good things again, there's a chance they'll get taken away?
Yeah.
Believe me, that I understand. But taking that chance is what it means to be alive, and it feels a hell of a lot better than the alternative, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
About 10 minutes later, Enid and Talisa walked back out into the main office to find Tara and Denise sharing a kiss across Denise's desk.
All right now. This is a place of business.
Doesn't bother me. I see them all the time at the Met Office anyway.
She turned to head down the stairs, and Talisa turned back to the other two.
I'm sorry, I just came up here to cross-reference a couple files from the Met Office, and then Tara came in looking for you, and one thing led to another, and...
It's all good. What's up, Tara?
I wanted to pick your brain about Heath. He seems like a good dude, but he and I are going on that 2-week run starting next week, and I want to know what I'm in for. You guys are friends, so I figure you could at least give me some info.
Heath's a good guy. He's very to the point, and he loves to give the people he cares about a hard time. The more he likes you, the more he'll try to drive you crazy, but I'm sure a little razzing is nothing you can't handle. As far as out on the road, I've never been out with him, but there's a reason he's one of our top runners. He's good at his job, and all the people who've done runs with him have nothing but good things to say. I'm sure it'll go great.
Exactly what I was hoping to hear. Now I gotta go. I'm helping Rosita with weapons training. See you at home for dinner.
You got it.
Tara leaned over to give Denise a quick kiss.
I'm headed out too, Denise. Feel free to stay as long as you want. Just lock up when you're done.
She followed Tara down the steps.
So you two are officially cohabitating, huh?
Yeah, we are. And if you say anything about lesbians and U-Hauls on the first date, I'll smack you.
Tara opened the front door for her.
Consider me warned.
Hey, there you are. We've got weapons training in 5 minutes. Yeah, I know I was headed there now.
Out of curiosity, how's Eugene doing?
Way better than I ever expected him to. He should have gotten a girlfriend sooner. It really seems to boost his performance.
Talisa rolled her eyes slightly, but otherwise ignored the jibe.
Hey, speaking of Eugene, are you guys planning anything for his birthday?
Tara and Rosita looked at each other and then back at her in confusion.
Eugene's birthday's coming up? When?
Next week? It actually falls on Thanksgiving this year. November 22nd. But I was thinking we should throw him a little party or something, or at least give him a pie with a candle in it, you know?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Huh, birthdays. It's been so long since we even knew what day it was that I haven't thought about my birthday in... God, I have no idea.
When is your birthday?
January 3rd. Holy shit! I'm almost 32. That's crazy to think about.
How about you, Tara?
I think I turned 27. Nope, wait, I did the math wrong. 28 on August 8th.
I should check in with everybody in your group and get the birthdays written down. Make sure they get acknowledged.
That's a good idea. Hey, while I've got you both here, Tara, you're gonna be with Denise tonight, right? That's the plan. And Eugene is still having dinner at your place, Talisa.
Yep. It's pizza and a movie night, and I get to pick the movie this time, so he better not bail.
Great, because I got all this stuff from Olivia to make dinner for Abraham, and I want it to be extra special. Well, we better get over to training before they get antsy and start without us. See you later, Talisa.
See ya.
Talisa turned to keep walking down the street. About a block further down, she saw Daryl coming out of his townhome with his eyes glued to a piece of paper. He was so focused, he almost bumped into her.
Heads up, Dixon.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to read Denise's handwriting. She gave me this supply list, but I got no idea what some of this stuff means. Like, what's that word?
He held the paper out to Talisa.
Acetaminophen. It's the generic name for Tylenol.
I thought generic was supposed to mean the more basic version of something. Why does the generic version of medicine always have to have the fancier name?
That's a very good point.
Daryl shifted his crossbow on his shoulder and tucked the paper in the pocket of his leather jacket.
You headed out on a run, I'm guessing?
Just a quick one. Rick and I are going to hit a few of the farm stores and less-known places in the area. See if anything hasn't been picked over. Oh, and by the way, what the hell is sorghum? And why is Eugene so obsessed with it all of a sudden?
Talisa laughed.
It's a plant that can be used for a lot of different things. It can be broken down into both flour and sugar products. You can refine it for use in both alcohol and biofuel, and it can be used as a textile.
You saying that one plant can make food, booze, clothes, and gas?
With time and the right tools, not to mention someone with the knowledge to do it, yeah, it can.
Damn. Guess it makes sense why Eugene's so crazy about it. He probably explained all that when he asked to us get it, but I never know what that guy's saying.
That's fair.
Talisa said with a chuckle. Further down the road, she saw Rick walk out his front door and motion to Daryl.
There's your ride.
Daryl nodded as he turned to go.
Hey, Daryl, when's your birthday?
He looked curiously over his shoulder at her.
July 19th. Why?
No reason. Just finding out the birthdays of all the new people for our records.
All right, then. But don't do anything stupid like bake me a cake or throw me a party.
Parties aren't stupid.
That's exactly what someone who likes stupid parties would say.
He called over his shoulder without looking back at her.
Is it weird that I find the Borg Queen kind of hot?
Talisa asked from her position on the couch next to Eugene.
If it is, I have to say we are in the same boat of weirdness. I've always found her unconventionally appealing ever since I first watched this movie.
She does have a rockin' body, there's no denying.
Talisa reached into the bowl on the coffee table for some more popcorn.
I'd give my left arm to have curves like that.
I would argue that the curves you possess are in all ways equal, if not superior. And I'd take my word on that, being as I've spent a considerable amount of time observing them.
Talisa shot him a look and smirked.
Watch yourself over there, Mr. Smooth Talker.
She leaned back against the couch and settled her weight against his, so their shoulders were pressed together. After a second, she felt him relax against her as well, and she leaned her head over, resting it against his shoulder.
I heard you offered to take a patrol shift with Abraham this week.
Yes, I did. Sasha expressed a desire to switch shifts, and being as it's high time I started pulling my weight around here, I volunteered. Abraham has had my back in 100 different ways up until this point. I'd say it's high time I have his.
I think you pull your weight just fine. Not everyone has to be a guard to contribute.
Be that as it may, I've been acquiring the aforementioned weapon skills with the intent of using them. Might as well get a jump on it. Rosita even agreed to teach me how to field strip the automatic weaponry.
Well, how about that? You keep going at this rate, you're going to be a better weapons expert than me, Haircut. What did you have to give Rosita in exchange?
I told her I would teach her the basics of chemistry.
Professor Porter, huh? I like it. Very sexy.
Now, which of us is being the smooth talker, Missy?
She grinned at him, tucking her head back on his shoulder.
Daryl told me this afternoon that you had him and Rick out on a sorghum run. Do you know if they found any?
According to them, they found an entire truck with not only sorghum, but canned goods, medicine, and even bottled water. But in a bizarre twist of fate and bad luck, none of said supplies made their way back here.
Oh yeah? What happened to them?
As she was speaking, she slowly slid her hand into his, intertwining their fingers. He froze for a split second, but then relaxed, allowing her to gently brush her fingers along his and trace patterns against his palm with her fingertips. Her stomach erupted with butterflies at the way his fingers gently brushed against hers. They had held hands before, but only in circumstances which they were grounding or reassuring one another. Never like this.
Oh, well,
He said roughly. She saw him swallow hard, and he cleared his throat slightly before speaking again.
Apparently they had a run-in with a nomad who attempted to steal their spoils. In the ensuing tussle, the truck ended up at the bottom of a lake.
Well, that's rotten luck.
It certainly is.
He shifted slightly so he was closer to her, resting his cheek on the top of her head.
This is nice.
He still held her hand and brushed his thumb across the back of it.
I dare say I could stay like this indefinitely, and I doubt I'd get tired of it.
Well, you won't see me kicking you out anytime soon.
Eugene looked down at her questioningly.
Do you mean that?
Yeah, I think I do.
They held each other's gaze as the significance of what she meant passed between them. Eugene took a small breath and opened his mouth to speak, but suddenly the front door banged open, making them both jump violently.
Get your asses up. Something's going down at Rick's.
Abraham barked, and they both jumped out of their seats to follow him out of the house. When I Fall is a work of fiction based on AMC's The Walking Dead. Any characters not created by the author are the property of said company. The story will continue in the next chapter.